Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Monday, February 3rd. I'm your host, Bree Cox Kennedy. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We have a very special show lined up for you today. For those of you who entered our contest to win this hand-signed copy of Icebergs to Iguanas, you're going to want to stay tuned until the end of the show, where we are going to draw one lucky name. Hope you got your name in on time. On today's show, we are talking with Dr. Ihab Alamari. He's going to be telling us all about AFib. Very important and very interesting information. He's coming to us with Providence Mission Hospital. And later in the show, we've got a very fun lineup for you that you're going to want to go to. Barbara Powell with Theater Guild is joining us with singer Jeff Sinclair. So that's going to be really fun. So lots of exciting things going on. But first, we need to keep you informed about the Contractor Town Hall meeting. It's Thursday, February 27th, 9 a.m. to noon at Clubhouse 5. It's presented by Manor Alterations and the City of Laguna Woods. It's going to be very interesting to learn what's required to work in the village. So if you need some more information on that, please call Josh Monroy, 949-597-4366. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of everything this week. Today's high is going to be 68, lowering down to 49 overnight, mostly cloudy all day. Who saw that intensely dense fog this morning? My goodness, it was hard to drive through. Most of the week, we're looking at a slight chance of rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Seems like most of it's going to be in the overnight hours on Wednesday evening. Still a slight chance for the rest of the week. Sunrise this morning was at 6:45 a.m. Sunset will be at 5:24. There's a gorgeous photo taken at Salt Creek Beach. That was sent to us by Meredith Go. Thank you so much, Meredith, for sending that to us. It's gorgeous. We'd like to see other photos as well. Please email your photos to us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Please send us your name, where the photo was taken from, and in a horizontal format, please. Next up, we've got a meeting to tell you about, and then after the break, Dr. Ihab Alamari with Providence Mission Hospital. Stay with us.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
And welcome back to the show. Do you know what warning signs are for strokes? Well, here to tell us that and more, we welcome cardiologist Dr. Ihab Alamari with Mission Hospital.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having
Welcome
me.
to the show, Doctor.
Thank you.
It's a joy having you here. There's a common thing out there called stroke, and people know it after they see it, right?
Correct.
But we want to share with our viewers, what are the warning signs? What is atrial fibrillation, otherwise commonly known as AFib?
So atrial fibrillation basically is an abnormal heart rhythm where the upper chamber of the heart will be going into a very fast and irregular speed. So basically the upper chamber will be shaking or quivering, and that will lead to patients having symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, inability to exercise, fatigue, and sometimes even syncope or passing out.
So forgive my ignorance, when I drink too much coffee, I kind of feel that little jitter. How different is it when you're actually having AFib?
So this is totally different. Atrial fibrillation is, again, it's an irregular rhythm. So the heart, actually, the upper chamber is going in an irregular, I will say, way.
And that's something that you can physically feel.
You can definitely feel, exactly. When you drink coffee, you're just having more sinus tachycardia. That's your normal heart rhythm going at just a faster speed, I will say.
Ah, interesting.
And that will be more of a regular rhythm.
Right. So is AFib dangerous?
So a lot of people, they live with atrial fibrillation. We have millions of people around the world, they have atrial fibrillation. The expectations in 2030 is to have about 12 million Americans with atrial fibrillation, or even more. And this is a problem that if it's treated, patients live well with it. But the problem when it's not treated well, or when it's underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed, then it becomes dangerous. And the most dangerous aspect of atrial fibrillation is having a stroke.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So tell us what are those symptoms? What are we going to look for?
So for strokes, basically, patient could have either weakness or numbness in one of the limbs or the face, sometimes visual disturbances, inability to talk or speak, urinary incontinence, and other variety of symptoms. Those symptoms could be temporary, last about 24 hours. This is what we call a transient ischemic attack, or TIA. After 24 hours, they resolve. Or the permanent symptoms, and those are the ones that we call stroke, and those will last, for basically forever.
And at what point do you recommend people seeking help, medical?
Whenever a patient gets any symptoms of weakness, numbness, something new, he's unable to talk, there is something that is abnormal, immediately they should seek medical help, because stroke is very time sensitive. Mm-hmm. You actually can treat a stroke if you are within the window of treatment, but if you sit on it for a very long period of time, then the treatment options become not available.
So a lot of people think, oh, it's abnormal, but it'll pass. And I'll be fine in a couple hours.
Exactly, and this is the mistake that a lot of people do, actually. So we always encourage patients that if you have any of the symptoms of stroke, and they should educate themselves and just read about symptoms of stroke, if they have any of them, then immediately they should seek medical attention, because that could save their life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so give us one more time a list of how do we prevent stroke in AFib?
So first of all, let's understand why stroke happens in atrial fibrillation. So this is basically the heart. We have two upper chambers and two lower chambers. This here is the appendix of the heart. This is basically the appendage, the left atrial appendage. It is a pouch, it comes from the left atrium, and usually when the heart contracts in a normal way, the blood goes in and out with no problem. But if the heart is in atrial fibrillation, the heart will be, again, quivering and shaking, and the blood will become sluggish. So the blood goes in, and it becomes stagnant, because this is a cul-de-sac. And that is a perfect environment for clot formation. So clot will form here, and then it will dislodge and go to the system, to our system, and to the brain, and forms a stroke. So how do we prevent that? The traditional method is basically giving patients blood thinners. Blood thinners, that medication that makes the blood really thin to prevent the clot formation in this chamber here.
Right.
The problem is a lot of patients, they cannot tolerate blood thinners. And that's why we do have an alternative for almost like the last 10 years by having what we call a left atrial appendage occlusion, which is basically a procedure to isolate the left atrial appendage from the rest of the heart. So the clot, when it forms, there is no way for it to escape into the system. It will just be trapped here.
And I believe you sent us a video to show us exactly how that
correct.
works.
Yeah, we can show that video, and I'll show you. I'll tell you how the procedure is done.
Okay.
So this is basically it's a once in a lifetime procedure. So we go through the right femoral vein from the groin, we go up to the heart, and then we have to cross with that catheter. This is called a transseptal catheter. We cross to the left atrium, and then we exchange our catheters to another catheter that's called a pigtail catheter. This is a catheter that we will place in the left atrial appendage, which we see there. We have different shapes, obviously, of this left atrial appendage. And then we can inject contrast and visualize the appendage under fluoroscopy. During this procedure, this is the contrast going in, just to look at the appendage anatomy. And then once we look at it, we size the appendage, and then we choose the right size of the device. Then we exchange for the device. This is the device that's called the Watchman device. Again, we have fluoroscopy and an echocardiogram at the same time to deploy it in the right position. Once we deploy in the right position, which we are doing like a fine adjustment, for example, here, to make sure that we're going to be sealing well, then we will look at the device and make sure that, number one, it is sealed. There is no leak around the device. Number two, it is stable, and we have enough compression on the device. We have to have a 10 to 30% compression on the device for the device to be stable. The device has small anchors that will go into the tissue of the appendage, and that will hold the device in place. Once we go through the criteria that this is the echo on the other side, on the left side, and you see how there is no leak around the device. Once we're happy with the results, then we have a knob that we can disconnect the catheter from the device, and the device will stay there basically forever. This device will take about 6 months to heal, and during these 6 months, we give patients aspirin and a super aspirin medication called Plavix. This will prevent any small clot formation on the device because the device is a foreign body up to this point. But after 6 months, it becomes covered with a normal heart tissue, and then you can remove these blood thinners, and then the patient will be only on aspirin.
And so during the first 6 months, can people exercise
Of course.
or resume normal activities?
Yes, so basically this procedure is a one-day procedure. It actually takes about 45 minutes to an hour to be done. Patients usually go home the same day, and they are back to normal activity the next morning with minimal restriction, like just for a week. We don't want them to do any heavy lifting or swimming or hiking, but back to normal activity, within a week.
Absolutely fascinating. So, doctor, who qualifies for this type of procedure?
So any patient with atrial fibrillation who actually qualifies for blood thinners but cannot tolerate blood thinners should qualify for this. Meaning, if the patient has atrial fibrillation, but they have a history of bleeding, let's say a GI bleeding or a brain bleed, you cannot give them blood thinner because that's dangerous. If the patient have imbalance, so they are at risk of falling or actually actively having recurrent falls, you don't want them to be on blood thinners because if they fall on the blood thinner, they will bleed massively. We also have patients with high-risk occupation, like pilots, firemen, sportsmen. You don't want these people obviously on blood thinners because of their job. You don't want them to bleed because patients with this blood thinner could actually bleed spontaneously sometimes.
Is that right?
Oh yes, and you don't want these people obviously to bleed. So there is a variety of patients that will qualify for this procedure, but if the patient has atrial fibrillation and they are on blood thinners and they don't know if they do qualify for this procedure or not, they should seek medical attention and talk to their physician and mainly to their cardiologist to see if they qualify for it.
My goodness, what a wealth of information in such a short period of time.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Iman Alamari from Mission Hospital, cardiologist. I appreciate your time and coming in with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching This Day on Village TV.
Dr. Farhumand and her associates at Brilliant Smile are excited to announce we now feature cone beam computed tomography. CBCT scans have many benefits over traditional X-rays. They are fast, safe, non-invasive, and provide better care to our patients. The 3D images provide an accurate view of teeth, bones, and soft tissue. It allows us to diagnose and treat more effectively. Also, it features modern diagnosing of sleep apnea by checking the airways and obstructions. Get started today. Call Brilliant Smile, Laguna Woods Village favorite dentist.
For some of you, it may be time to replace your dated windows and doors. I'm a resident of Laguna Woods and have served the community for 10 years. As a women-owned business, you can trust Window Jazz to provide seamless service from the moment we meet to the completion of the job. Most jobs are completed in just one day.
Window Jazz put windows in my home. The service was amazing, the price couldn't be beat, and I would recommend them to anybody.
Call Window Jazz now to schedule your free consultation.
And welcome back to the show. The Theater Guild is getting ready to rock. We're going to take you right along with us on this adventure. It's going to be really fun. We welcome Guild member Barbara Powell and lead singer Jeff Sinclair of Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages.
The bad boys of rock.
There you go.
Okay, I just have to say, I saw Rock of Ages, New York City, downtown, years ago.
The musical?
The musical.
Oh.
Oh my God. Fascinating.
Wow.
Fascinating. Well, it helped that the lead singer came up and gave me a kiss on the cheek.
Oh.
And then he fainted.
Okay.
So with that, let's transition into this amazing event that you guys are putting on.
Yes.
Tell us all about this interactive dance event.
Woohoo! So we did this in 2018.
Okay.
What was it was the Dutch of Fizz
Dutch of Fizz band back
Yeah.
then. I was the lead singer for that band, and it was really, really fun.
It was fun. We only had about a dozen people back then who wanted to perform. This time we've got 24, 25.
Okay.
And we have been able to get a lot of new talent. And I'm not using the word loosely. I mean,
No, these guys can sing. In fact, I thought maybe there's a little conspiracy going on to possibly replace me as lead singer for Rock of Ages.
didn't Lyle tell you?
No, nobody
Oh.
told me. That's what's crazy.
And so, okay, tell us how this works. So you've got 25 guild members signed up
Yes.
to sing songs.
Yes, from
So-
our song list.
From the set list,
They're, you're rehearsing with them,
Yes.
they're memorizing the songs, right? And
Well,
Ish.
then ish, little cheat sheets.
Yeah, well, some of them
We'll have to
need.
have 'em.
It's interesting because some of the performers have done these songs many, many times, like at karaoke, or they sing in the community, like for senior age well or different places. So some of them actually have them memorized, and they have a whole lot of stage presence. A lot of stage presence.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that's pretty exciting. And then some of them haven't sung in a long time. They're a little bit rusty. They're talented, but they're not in full voice
You
yet.
just got to brush it off.
Yeah, and it's exciting but scary. Yeah.
Sure.
So some of them, their voices were just a little tight and they weren't singing out Louise. But as the song wore on, they got stronger and stronger and more.
yeah, and
presence.
I think, comparing this, I mean, you can't really compare this to karaoke because karaoke, you go to a bar and you're drinking and everybody's up there doing silly stuff, and there's some serious singers. But these guys, with a real band, live band, it's you're in the spotlight. It's
Right.
like, oh, hey, this is nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Why is there so much vibrato in your voice?
But they did so well. They did so well.
They did. They really did.
Well, I would say most of them are going to be smash hits. It's going to
Yeah.
be great.
And the ones who didn't, we are coaching, giving them,
New songs.
yeah, new songs. Then maybe the song didn't fit properly for them.
Sure.
So we're working with them to gin up their skills. And the band has been really very welcoming to everybody. It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had our first rehearsal last Friday, and it took about 3 hours. And like most of the singers came in, did the song, and we're like, hey, you're good.
Yeah.
So
Really?
we had to work with maybe 4 or 5 of them. and
Yeah.
We're bringing them back to work with them a little bit more. There's a couple that we're actually going to let them sing an instrumental song. So, no lyrics.
The sounds of silence.
Sound of silence. That's a good one.
That's great. That's great. So, how many rehearsals will you have before the show?
That's a great question. Depending on, we've got like 5 or 6, right, that need to come back for a second rehearsal and then maybe a third rehearsal. just to make them feel more comfortable.
Sure.
We want, I mean, they're going to bring their family, they're going to bring their friends. A lot of people, their lifelong dream is to be like a rock star kind of thing.
Like
And-
Jeff.
Well, yeah, like me. And so I just saw it on the faces of a lot of these older folks that were like, oh my God, this is a dream come true kind of thing. So that just warms my heart. I'm just so tickled for
Yeah.
them to be able to do
great.
that.
The
Yeah.
band was
Opportunity.
smiling. I could see them smiling.
We were. Just,
It
it's so
was-
much fun to see people like live something that they've been wanting to do.
And I think it's invigorating for you do the same old, and you rehearse your set list, and maybe you add a new one. But Victoria just broke into Bobby McGee, and the band is like, we don't know this song, but they did. They just started playing along,
Yeah.
and it was fun.
She was crazy good. I mean, I'm looking forward to her performance because
Yeah.
she shakes it up. She's up there moving around
She's-
and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's a lot
some
of fun.
people have
Fantastic.
a lot of wonderful stage presence,
Yeah.
and that's exciting.
I mean, is there any other community in the world who's doing this?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah.
I mean, how exciting, how fun.
Yeah.
I mean, so besides watching and cheering people on, can people actually get up and start dancing?
Oh, yes, it's a dance. We'll have tables and bring your own everything. So generally at these events, they come as groups and they bring snacks and they share, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a very festive, like a
Sure.
festival kind of a thing. We're also a grocery outlet in Laguna Niguela's donating a gift basket. And so we're going to raffle tickets for the gift
very
basket.
fun.
So that'll be a nice.
Yeah, we're recruiting all of our fan base to come see this because we will be performing our normal stuff on the second set. There'll be about a set and 10 minutes worth of Theater Guild singers, and then we'll do our regular dance stuff. But in the group of 24 songs, there's only like 3 or 4 that are slow songs.
Yeah.
So the others, people can get up and rock too.
Satisfaction, Johnny Be Good.
Yeah.
Saw Her Standing There.
Yeah.
Wagon Wheel, Tulsa Time, Green
Yeah,
River.
there's line dances in there as
Proud
well.
Mary, you know.
So people are going to know virtually every one of these songs.
They should.
Virtually everyone. And we just did a show last Saturday night. We had like between 230 and 250 fans there. So we sold out, Clubhouse number 2. So we should have, we want to sell out. You guys got to come out and see these
Yes.
singers. They're fun to watch, and the band's there, encourage them and working with them. We have the best musicians, in my opinion, in Laguna Woods.
They just, oh, we don't know
lot
that
of
song.
talent.
Oh, we do know that song. It was
Exactly.
it was very exciting. And some of the people are going to be dressing in the character. The guy who's doing Mick Jagger bought a jacket, like a
Wow.
Jagger type
I don't
jacket.
even do that.
Very
So yeah, so I'm because we are a theater guild.
Sure.
I told people, get fun, zhuzh it up. Just
Why
get in
not?
character if you
Why
want.
not?
Wear a cowboy hat. I don't know.
So
There you
let's tell our viewers
The
the
details.
details. We've
Okay.
got
February
12
20th.
mystery singers also.
Well, that we didn't know who they were going to be. This 24.
Okay, that's 24.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
24 mystery singers. The event is taking place at 7 p.m. Clubhouse 5 on February 20th. Bring your own everything.
Yes.
Right. Well, this sounds like a very fun event. I can't wait. Can you come back and tell us how it went?
Sure.
Absolutely,
we'd love to.
for sure.
We'll have
As soon as
pictures.
the hangover wears off, we'll be right back.
You mean from last night?
I don't
The
think
doors-
you guys can go through a day without cracking jokes and smiling.
No.
Barb and I are a pair.
That's great.
for sure.
That's
Pair to
great.
draw to.
And can anybody go?
Anybody can go.
Anybody can go.
We want
So
everybody
$10 at the door.
$10.
Yeah.
The
Whether
doors
you're a
open at
member or not?
6:30. Correct. It's one price fits all for this event.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you come check it out. Like I say, it's a party, and it's a lifetime opportunity for a lot of these people. And we have an older community, so a lot of these people might not get a chance. We did this 7 years ago. We might not do it again for 7 years. Who knows?
No, we're
But
going to try to do it live.
I think you should do it annually.
Well, I
Okay,
think
and we'll get you up there to sing.
You might just do that.
What's your song?
Wow. Awesome.
Gosh, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, okay. I'll hold that thought.
Folks from the Theater Guild and Rock of Ages, get out there and see that fabulous show. And you stay tuned with us, because when we come back, we're going to be doing our drawing for Icebergs to Iguanas National Geographic book signed by Jason Edwards after these messages. Stay tuned.
Seniors fear running out of money more than death itself, and the number one mistake you can make is underestimating volatility, which can derail your retirement. For 35 years now, I've coached seniors to financial independence by using two simple rules: never take big losses and create income along the way. It's your financial future. Call now to get a free risk analysis to ensure your investments are protected, and we'll send you our Safer Money System, 949-219-0692.
Hi, I'm Vince Ferragamo. I spent some of my best years as an NFL quarterback, but today I've got a new team, and we're helping seniors who spent their best years fighting for our country, defending our freedom, and informing the nation. Our hometown heroes need help. AgeWell Senior Services is their lifeline. Nonprofit AgeWell can do all of this because you care enough to give. Please join me in supporting AgeWell. Donate today.
What would it feel like to hear better? Many people are trapped in the isolation of poor hearing and don't realize it. Even people that are wearing other hearing aids. They only know the way they hear, not how much better they could be hearing. We've taken patients that were hearing 24% of conversations and improved them to 92%. A life-changing difference. Put on these hearing aids and hear better, automatically. No buttons to push or technology to fear. Artificial intelligence and these products do all the work. Don't settle for less. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. This is the day I've been waiting for a long time. I'm so excited to give this beautiful signed book from my good friend Jason Edwards from National Geographic. He created this book, and we are giving it away to one lucky winner. So let's spin to win. Louisa, sorry if I'm butchering your name, Louisa, but you are our lucky winner for our beautifully signed National Geographic book. Congratulations. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast real quick for you. We've got a little bit of everything going on this week, folks. We got a lot of fog in the mornings and in the evenings, at least we did in Laguna Beach and through the canyon. We've got a mostly cloudy week, turning into a chance of rain Wednesday through Friday. So be on the lookout for that. We could use a few more sprinkles, but hopefully we don't get a ton of rain in the LA area just because we don't want any mudslides or any of those toxins to be released into the ocean from the burnt homes. Our Monday movie preview is Primary Colors with John Travolta. This is brought to us from Providence Mission Hospital. A young political idealist and grandson of a civil rights leader is recruited to join the campaign of smooth operator politician Jack Stanton, charismatic Southern governor trying to win the Democratic Party nomination for President of the United States. All right, folks, that's going to do it for our Monday edition of This Day. From all of us here, we wish yours a beautiful one.